This is Maureen Quenda, your podcast host, and you are listening to the Empowerment Minutes podcast. For those who are tuning in for the first time, this is a podcast to empower you with nuggets on learning and development, training, leadership coaching, entrepreneurship, and personal growth. I am a learning leader, researcher, speaker, coach, and consultant, and I'm an author of the book, Dream Big and Live Your Dreams Boldly. I'm also the CEO and founder of EMK Learning Solutions, LLC. I have the honor to coach and inspire instructional leaders, emerging leaders, and trainers to become leaders. I'll be glad to help you too if you let me know. It's an exciting week again on the show, and I want to get started. I have a special guest that I can't wait to introduce, but let's start us off by saying thank you so much for tuning in every week. And if you're here for the first time, we're so glad you're listening to us, and we're hoping that by the end of the podcast, you learn a thing or two to empower you in any area of your life. And so thank you so much. This means a whole lot to me and the other listeners, so thank you. So this episode, we're wrapping up the Women's Empowerment series, and the focus today is on leadership and communication. And so I mentioned earlier on that I have a special guest, and so I'm going to go ahead and introduce you to her. So welcome to the show, Kiran. I would like to say thank you so much for accepting our invitation to be a guest on the show. Can you please tell us about yourself? I can't wait to know about you, and I know listeners are waiting as well to learn about you as well. So what can you tell us about yourself in a nutshell? And I'm sure we're just going to be so excited about what you're going to share about yourself. So take it away.
First of all, thank you so much, Maureen, for having me on your podcast. Absolutely a privilege to be sharing my thoughts with our listeners today. My name is Kiran Deep Sandhu. I am joining you today from Malaysia. I'm a communication coach, and I support emerging leaders to build their leadership brand, increase their visibility, and amplify their influence. I've been in this business of coaching and communication for the last 2 decades. So it's been a privilege to be working with emerging leaders and leaders to increase their influence through communication.
That's powerful. Thank you so much. That was a great introduction. Thank you. I know you're actually sharing that your area is empowering emerging leaders and leaders to maximize their full potential. And you have this wonderful acronym called CARD. So you empower people through Leadership K.A.R.D. What does the acronym CARD stand for?
So first of all, my company is called Leadership K.A.R.D, and the acronym K stands for knowledge, A for accomplish, R stands for reflect, and D stands for develop. So the entire programs that we run for emerging leaders as well as leaders is based on the principle of K.A.R.D, where you're constantly on a cycle. It doesn't have to be linear. It can be start from thinking about reflecting, and then from there you gain knowledge, but it's constantly about acquiring new knowledge, accomplishing goals that you set for yourself, reflecting on the process, because a true leader is the one that introspects, and from there we develop and grow further as a leader.
That's powerful. I like what you just shared about what they're learning. It doesn't have to follow a linear approach, right? It can go through different cycles, following and using an iterative approach, and then understanding that it's not a one and done thing, right? It's a continued process, because the day we stop learning, I don't know who actually wrote this quote. I can't remember if it's Gandhi's, the day we stop learning, the day we die. We got to continue learning. We're lifelong learners, right? You're in this journey as a leader. You're going to continue to improve yourself such that you can also empower others. So this is wonderful. Thank you so much. So then I'm going to ask you a question then. How does your leadership card, or how does a leader's leadership card empower others or emerging leaders to reach their full potential? How does that work?
So just like what you just now said, Maureen, that the day a person stops learning, they stop growing, right? And I believe that a lot of times in our in this chaos of this world, we get so bogged down with these mundane things And we think we've accomplished it all. We've actually reached our potential. We've reached our highest point, and that's it. I don't need to learn anymore. I don't need to be. They don't say that we don't want to grow, but they just say, okay, I know it all. So that's a stagnation point, which commonly comes with in the mid-career for many individuals.
Right.
And at the time they start, they start having that feeling of feeling stuck. Grow, but they don't know how to grow. They are looking for help, but they're not sure that who can really support them. So as part of our leadership program, which is based on the C.A.R.D principle, I would say the word is empower or equipped. We're equipping emerging leaders with the knowledge which is based on our experiences which we have accumulated through those down times, those hard times, through navigating the dark holes of leadership, and bringing those practical knowledge, creating frameworks which have worked for us to share with other people who are going through those challenges, because it's sometimes very hard to go from point A to B. And if you are able to see, let me accelerate that journey from A to B by picking up, learning from others who have gone through that journey. I would say that's what we're doing, bringing in those experiences and perspectives from diverse fields, because Leadership K.A.R.D is comprised of myself, which I'm from communication background, and my partners are from sales and alliances. They're also from facility management, real estate, along with finance. So we bring in diverse industries, diverse experiences, diverse dark holes to help them navigate their challenges.
All right. So when I think about the title of our podcast today, it says Dare to Maximize Your Leadership K.A.R.D. And now you're sharing what the C.A.R.D is about, and also how the uniqueness of diversity of thought really enhances the experience of those that you're working with in your C.A.R.D program. And then it makes me understand that, okay, it's not just about people reaching their potential, right? It's about people going beyond reaching their potential, maximizing their potential, getting to the best version of themselves, like going all in versus just barely getting there. And that's really, exciting. But then, as we know, life happens, right? Sometimes people want to do this, but some things get in the way. So then that makes me, want to ask you this question then. What are some obstacles or things that can prevent leaders emerging leaders or leaders from maximizing their full potential? You mentioned stagnation. What else do you think can prevent them from reaching?
Orrin, I would say the biggest barrier to any individual, I would call on individuals as leaders. Let's not bracket them as emerging leaders. So the biggest challenge that any leader faces in their growth journey to maximizing their potential is their own mindset.
That's right.
They may create boundaries around themselves based on their past experiences and their past failures. Now, each of us have had our past failures, and it's all about how fast do I come back. So recently, when I've been talking about mindset. I talk about a lot about mindset. And I remember that I went through a very difficult period of time, and it took me for ages to come out of that crisis situation, because I was constantly I had those ant moments, those automatic negative thoughts in my mind that I can't do it. But I realized that if I wanted to grow, I had to not only grow by becoming resilient, but another amazing concept which I've learned, that when we talk about mindset and us coming out of our negative thoughts, it's not coming out of those challenges by developing resilience, because resilience is bouncing back into shape. I would say we all come back stronger. And the word for that is anti-fragile, which has been named by another leading author. I'm not able to pick up the word right now. But yes, the word anti-fragile, where when you go down into the dark hole, you don't just come back bouncing back into shape, you bounce back stronger. Just
That's
like
right.
each time you cut the head of of one snake, I can't remember it again, but yes, every time multiple heads come back. So it's just the same way. Let's just, every time you fall down, let's come back into shape, but in fact bolder than the last time. And the mindset is going to be the one that is going to help you to go from A to B.
Wow, that's powerful. Our mindset, honestly, it's from what I'm hearing you say, can really be what's making us from not being who we really want to be. So we got to be able to let go some of those limiting beliefs, some of those things that were feeding our minds, even from childhood, right? And also our experiences. So anyone who's listening in and maybe you're experiencing some things going on, you're telling yourself you cannot be the leader. You cannot be the leader that you're wanting to be. We're wanting to just empower you. We're just wanting to encourage you to let go of those thoughts. You want to reflect and identify what's going on, and try to maybe connect with a coach. Try to connect with yourself to figure out what's going on, and then let go of those things and be in the right community, and have the people, the experts that can help you to get away from that and just to embrace who you are, because we believe in you, and you should believe in yourself that you can do it. So this is wonderful. Thank you so much. This is great. I'm going to also, after this podcast, take a look at the anti-fragile thing you mentioned, just to...
Yes, I just got the name for you, Maureen. It's called Anti-Fragile, Things That Gain from Disorder. It's a book by Nassim Nicholas Taleb. I would definitely recommend this book to our listeners, because you don't want to just develop resilience. You want to become anti-fragile every time you come out of that dark hole.
Absolutely. Because from what I'm hearing you say then is, you can have those thoughts. It doesn't mean once you you deal with them, they're one and done. It might happen again. So having this, this framework to help you, if you ever get yourself in that situation, to completely just figure this thing out, and you don't have to keep getting into that dark place. So this is great. Thank you so much. I know your area, one of your areas of expertise, in addition to leadership, is communication, right? You're a communication coach. You're big on communication. And as the leader, that's one thing that can really take us far, being able to be an effective communicator and connecting with people. And I'm so proud of you for being one of the TEDx, speakers and a trainer. That's what many people dream to do. It's actually on my to-do list as well. As a communicator, what can you share with leaders to empower them in the area of communication, or even speaking from a TEDx trainer coach standpoint?
Okay, so the first part is going to be from the communication point of view. I would say, as what John Maxwell says, that what is leadership? Leadership is influence, and you influence people through communication. So work on your communication daily. And it's not about speaking English. It's about to be communicating with the people, listening to them, breaking down those egos that we might have so that we can be a better leader. And as a communication coach, what I do is I work on leadership principles from John Maxwell to build into my practices, into my learnings, to share with other leaders so that they can grow too. You've asked also another question related to TEDx, and I would like to share just 3 tips for all those people who want to see themselves on the TEDx stage. My first tip for you would be, first of all, visualize yourself on that TEDx stage. Visualize your success. Visualize yourself in front of that audience, because that is going to be the most powerful motivator for you to achieve that goal.
Wow.
So the second thing that I would say is that once you have visualized yourself on that stage with people clapping for you, now think about what is that area that has impacted you deeply, and you would like to share with the world that idea that is going to bring a change. What is that idea that is going to make a difference to another person? My TEDx talk is called Mindset of the Wonder Woman. And it's all about resilience and how, as women, we have different identities and how we have to change our identities and keep coming out of our crisis and becoming successful. So that was me wanting to share about the challenges that women face and our multiple identities through my TEDx stage. So that was my idea, and that gave me a thought to start exploring. So the second tip is, after visualizing yourself as successful, look for what really inspired, what has changed your life. And from there, find some stories which you can build. And for that, start searching other speakers who have spoken on similar areas to see what have they spoken, how have they tackled the same topic. So that will give you new insights on how can you look at the language, the framework, the audience engagement. That will give you powerful tips on how are they doing it. And for the third tip is going to be, in order to achieve that goal of being on TEDx and the image that you have in mind, seeing yourself as that speaker, you start with setting your goal. Go backwards from the stage, then you go to finding your topic, setting your process and coming up with timelines that you want, and start reaching out organizers in your community or even internationally to see who would want to hear your story. Start scripting it, documenting every single idea that you have, because you are the only one who can connect those unconnected dots with your stories. So that's my tip. Visualize your success. Number 2, prepare, find a story within your story bank. And number 3, set a goal and a deadline to achieve your goal of being on TEDx.
Wow, you've given us wonderful golden nuggets here on leadership, on communication, and now a bonus on the TEDx. This is just amazing. Just so honored to have someone who is sharing with our audience about going the extra mile, about becoming a TEDx speaker. If you're wanting to do that, please just follow these tips. She's done it before, and I'm going to ask Karen, if people can reach out to you later on. But I know we're getting to the end of the podcast, but I know we're also wrapping up Women's History Month. And so then I would like to ask you, what does empowerment mean to you as a leadership coach, trainer, and consultant? Women empowerment actually mean, what does women empowerment mean to you? Yes.
Women empowerment means that let's help support each other to grow. It's the power of giving, empowering them, equipping them with knowledge, skills, attitude. And it doesn't have to be limited to just, helping people, it's supporting them. We can empower people with our thoughts. Social media is such a powerful platform that when we see someone, we can empower them to do something else. The biggest compliment I have received ever was once a lady sent me a message on social media. She said, Kiran, after seeing your videos and how you look and dress up, I have started wearing lipstick after 15 years when my husband left me.
Wow.
That was where I felt that I had empowered her to take back her life. So we can inspire people, empower them in multiple ways, whether it's directly or indirectly. So let's do our part of keep sharing and giving and lifting each other. Thank you so much, Mom.
That's just perfect. And so for those women, we shared about leadership, communication, shared about mindset as that being the obstacle sometimes for people moving forward. For those women who feel that they just cannot do it, who are struggling in all these areas, who believe that, they cannot even find joy in these areas, what is the one word or one thing that you can tell them to encourage them or to empower them?
Believe in yourself. Stop that self-doubt. Look at the mirror and say to yourself that you're beautiful, you're powerful, you're empowering. And every day repeat this affirmation until you start believing it. Because the day we start looking at ourselves in the mirror as an empowered woman, until that day, we will constantly be not empowered. So let's lift each other. Let's be empowered.
That's wonderful. And we're here, as coaches to be the village. If you're this woman, if you need some people to, to surround you with, this give you the support that you need, we're here. And that, that's a great segue into, okay, we've come to the end of the podcast. I know you shared a lot today, Kiran. And so where can someone who's listening find you if they want to continue this conversation? Maybe they want to learn about K.A.R.D. Maybe they want to work with you on a one-on-one, or maybe you even have a program that's running. Where can they find you? Where can they connect with you?
I would say, please find me on LinkedIn under the name of Kiran Deep Sandhu, Kiran Deep Sandhu, Sandhu. That's the easiest platform, or www.leadershipk.com. These will be the two places that you can actually find me. I am all over social media because I want to share knowledge and empower more and more women and male leaders to amplify their own leadership.
Okay, this is great. So we have our podcast show notes, and is that okay with, if I put your website?
Absolutely. Please do.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Okay, thank you so much, Kiran. This has been great. Thank you so much. And I would like to wish you the best in your personal and professional life. Just keep up the great work you're doing. Keep making a difference. It's working, and you actually testified it's working. So our listeners out there, thank you for tuning in to this wonderful episode. I believe you have been blessed. And I would like to say, stay safe, be well, and I'll see you same time next week. Thanks again, Kiran. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, guys.